When I got a full-ride scholarship, my dad said, "Good. Now I can use your college fund on a real family vacation." He posted photos from the beach with the caption, "No dead weight this time." He didn't notice who commented underneath. I'm Gloria Young, 22 years old, and this is the story of how one comment from a stranger destroyed the image my father spent 8 years building, while I didn't have to lift a finger. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from. To understand what happened, you need to understand my family, or rather, the family I stopped being part of when I was 14. My mother died when I was 12, ovarian cancer. She fought for 18 months, and I sat beside her hospital bed every day after school, reading her favorite books aloud until she couldn't stay awake anymore. 2 years after she passed, my father married Melissa, a woman he'd met at a real estate conference. She came with 2 children from her previous marriage, Brandon, who was 11 at the time, and Chloe, who was 8. I tried. God, I tried to make it work, but somewhere along the way I became invisible. In our living room, there's a wall of family photos, 23 frames, carefully arranged by Melissa in 2016. I counted them once, during a Thanksgiving, when no one noticed I'd left the dinner table early. Not a single photo of me exists on that wall after 2015, the year my father remarried. It wasn't dramatic. There was no announcement, no family meeting where they decided I didn't belong. I just faded. Birthday dinners became immediate family only, which somehow didn't include me. Christmas cards featured 4 smiling faces, never 5. When my father posted his family Sunday photos on Facebook, I was never tagged, never mentioned, never there. I didn't disappear all at once. I was erased slowly, pixel by pixel, until no one remembered I'd ever been in the frame. Over the past 4 years, my father posted 847 family photos on Facebook. I know because I counted during one particularly lonely night in my dorm room. I appear in exactly 3 of them, all large group shots where I'm standing at the edge, half cropped out. But I didn't know then that the numbers were about to matter in ways none of us expected. The money was supposed to be mine. When my mother died, she left behind a life insurance policy worth $45,000. The paperwork was clear. I found a copy years later in a box of her things my father had shoved into the garage. For Gloria's education, she'd written in a letter to her attorney, so she never has to depend on anyone. My father became the trustee. He called it Gloria's college fund whenever relatives asked, which made him sound responsible and caring. What he didn't mention was how that fund worked in practice. Brandon, my stepbrother, graduated high school with a 2.8 GPA and a vague interest in business. My father enrolled him at a private university in San Antonio. $38,000 per year, no scholarships, no financial aid. He needs the structure, my father explained at dinner once. Some kids just need more support. I graduated with a 3.94 GPA, a research position in the computer science department, and acceptance to the honors program at UT Austin. My father covered my tuition from the fund, and nothing else. The fund is for tuition, Gloria, not spending money. So I worked 20 hours a week at the university library, another 10 hours tutoring high school students in calculus. I ate ramen 4 nights a week and learned to stretch a dollar until it screamed. Last summer, I asked my father for $200 to buy textbooks for a machine learning course. He said the budget was tight. That same week, he bought Brandon a $2,199 MacBook Pro. For online classes, Melissa explained, as if that made it reasonable. I didn't argue. I never argued. I just found a PDF version of the textbook and highlighted passages on my 6-year-old laptop until 2 in the morning. I didn't know yet that the fund was about to serve a very different purpose. My father has 127,000 followers on Facebook. I know that sounds strange to lead with, but it matters. It matters because Richard Young isn't just a father. He's a brand. Family Man Richard, as his bio reads, complete with a sunset photo of him hugging Brandon and Chloe on some beach I was never invited to. He works as a senior manager at Pinnacle Realty Group, one of the largest real estate agencies in Austin. His Facebook isn't just personal, it's professional. Clients find him there. Colleagues comment on his posts. His carefully curated image of the devoted family man has helped him close deals worth millions. His most viral post, 14,000 likes, 2,300 shares, was a photo of him taking Brandon to a football game. The caption read, "Nothing beats quality time with my son. Raising good men, one game at a time. Hashtag proud dad, hashtag family first." I saw that post from my dorm room, eating cold leftover pizza I'd saved from a department meeting. I didn't comment. I never commented. Here's what I eventually realized. My father doesn't hate me. That would require him to feel something about me at all. I'm simply not useful to his narrative. I'm not photogenic enough, not enthusiastic enough, not enough to fit the aesthetic he's built. I don't generate engagement. I don't inspire comments about what a wonderful father he is. I'm bad content. On Facebook, my father is the perfect dad. In real life, I'm the daughter who doesn't exist. But on March 15th, I received an email that would change everything and force my father to see me whether he wanted to or not. March 15th, 7:23 a.m. I was working the early shift at the university library, shelving returns in the quiet hour before students started trickling in for their morning study sessions. My phone buzzed in my back pocket, an email notification I almost ignored. The sender line read, "Stanford Graduate Admissions." I stopped breathing. I'd applied for the Morrison Whitfield Fellowship 3 months earlier, more out of desperate hope than realistic expectation. The fellowship covered everything: tuition, living expenses, research funding, for a master's program in data science at Stanford. Total value, $187,000 over 2 years. Only 12 recipients nationwide. Over 4,000 applicants. I opened the email with shaking hands. Dear Ms. Young, on behalf of the Morrison Whitfield Foundation and Stanford University, we are pleased to inform you that you have been selected as one of 12 recipients of the Morrison Whitfield Fellowship for the 2024-2025 academic year. I read it 3 times. Then I walked to the library bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and cried for 15 minutes. For the first time in 4 years, every sleepless night felt worth it. Every meal I'd skipped to afford textbooks. Every time I'd been called dead weight and swallowed my response. It all meant something. But one line in the email caught my attention more than the rest. Dr. Eleanor Whitfield, Foundation Chair, has personally reviewed your application and noted your exceptional research on predictive modeling for natural disaster response. She has expressed interest in meeting you during orientation week. I didn't know who Dr. Eleanor Whitfield was, not yet. I would learn soon enough, and so would my father. I called my father that afternoon. I don't know why. Hope, maybe. Some stubborn part of me that still believed good news might unlock something in him. Pride, affection, acknowledgement, anything. He picked up on the 4th ring. Gloria, what is it? Dad, I got in. The Stanford Fellowship. Full ride. They're paying for everything. Silence. 5 seconds. 10. Then. Good. I waited for more. Congratulations. I'm proud of you. Your mother would be so happy. Good, he repeated. That means I can finally use your college fund for something useful. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? I've been planning a family trip to Maui for months, but the budget wasn't there. Now that you don't need the fund anymore. He paused, and I could hear Melissa saying something in the background. We can finally do it right. 5-star resort, ocean view suite. The works. We? Me, Melissa, Brandon, and Chloe. A real family vacation. I gripped my phone so hard my knuckles went white. Am I invited? He sighed, the kind of sigh you give when someone asks an obvious question. Gloria, you've got your Stanford stuff to figure out. Applications, housing, whatever. Besides, this is a chance for us to bond as a family. A pause. A real family. A real family. He said it like I was a counterfeit. A rough draft someone forgot to delete. The money Mom left was for my education, I said quietly. And you're getting educated for free now. Problem solved. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I've got to go, he said. Melissa's making dinner reservations. The line went dead. 2 weeks later, he would post photos from that vacation with a caption that would end his career as he knew it. But I didn't know that yet. All I knew was that I wasn't family. March 20th. I drove to my father's house to pick up some documents I needed for Stanford's enrollment paperwork. My birth certificate, my mother's death certificate, tax forms. Melissa was waiting at the door. I heard about your scholarship. She didn't move to let me in. Congratulations. Thank you. But don't think it changes anything. I blinked. Changes what? Your place here. What place do I have here, Melissa? She smiled, thin, practiced. Exactly my point. I pushed past her into the foyer. I just need some documents from Dad's office. The money, she said to my back. You're upset about the vacation. I stopped, turned. That money was my mother's. She left it for me. Your mother is gone, Gloria. Your father makes the decisions now. She left it for my education. And you have a full scholarship, Melissa crossed her arms. What's the problem? The problem is that you're using my inheritance to take a vacation without me. We've already booked it. Her tone was matter-of-fact, like she was discussing the weather. 10 days in Maui, oceanfront suite at the Grand Waverly Resort, helicopter tour of the volcanoes, the whole package. How much? $38,000. I felt the number like a physical blow. $38,000, nearly my mother's entire life insurance payout, gone. Brandon's tuition costs the same, I said. Every year, for 4 years. Melissa's expression didn't change. Brandon needed support. You've always been self-sufficient. Self-sufficient. That was the word they used. Not neglected, not abandoned. Self-sufficient. I need those documents, I said. She stepped aside. They're in the filing cabinet. You know where. I walked past her without another word. But as I gathered my papers, I heard her call out, "Have fun at Stanford, Gloria. Try not to be so dramatic about everything." I found my father in his home office, scrolling through something on his phone. He didn't look up when I entered. "Dad, we need to talk about the fund." "There's nothing to talk about." "That money was supposed to be for my education. Mom specifically. And you're getting educated." He finally glanced at me, irritated. "For free. At Stanford. What's the issue?" "The issue is that you're spending my inheritance on a vacation that doesn't include me." He set his phone down, leaned back in his chair. "You want the truth, Gloria?" No, I didn't. But I nodded anyway. "Fine." His voice was cold, clinical. "You don't fit in. You never have. Every family trip, every holiday dinner, every photo, you make everyone uncomfortable. You're always in the corner, always quiet, always there, like furniture no one asked for." I couldn't speak. "You're dead weight, Gloria. That's the reality. And for once, I want to take my family somewhere nice without having to worry about you dragging the mood down." Dead weight. He said it like he'd been thinking it for years, like he'd been waiting for the right moment to finally let it out. Mom would never. Your mother isn't here. He picked up his phone again, dismissing me. "And I'm done pretending that keeping you around honors her memory. It doesn't. It just makes everything harder." I stood there for a long moment. I didn't cry, I didn't yell. I just looked at him, really looked, and saw a stranger wearing my father's face. "Okay," I said quietly. I turned and walked out. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. Not because I accepted what he said, but because I knew some things couldn't be changed with words. Maya Torres was waiting for me when I got back to our dorm room. She took one look at my face and said, "What did they do?" I told her everything. The phone call, Melissa at the door, My father's words in his office. Dead weight. I said it out loud for the first time, and it tasted like poison. Maya stared at me for a full 10 seconds before exploding. He called you what? She jumped off her bed. He called you dead weight? Because you got a Stanford fellowship? Maya. No, no, no. Hold on. She started pacing. Let me get this straight. You just achieved something that 99.7% of applicants couldn't achieve. Something that puts you in the top 12 data science students in the entire country. And your father's response was, "Great, now I can go to Maui without you?" When she put it like that, it sounded insane. Because it was insane. I'm used to it, I said quietly. Maya stopped pacing, looked at me with something between pity and fury. Gloria, that's the problem. You're so used to being treated like garbage that you don't even recognize it anymore. She was right. I knew she was right. This isn't normal, she continued. None of this is normal, and you need to stop pretending it is. I didn't have a response, so I just sat on my bed and stared at the wall. Maya pulled out her phone. Hey, did you know who created your fellowship? What? The Morrison Whitfield Fellowship. I just Googled it. She turned her screen toward me. Dr. Eleanor Whitfield. She ran the data science division at NASA for 10 years. She has 340,000 followers on LinkedIn. I looked at the photo. A silver-haired woman with sharp eyes and a kind smile. I had no idea how much that face would come to mean. The Stanford News article went live on March 20th. I found it while sitting alone in the library during my lunch break, eating a granola bar I'd bought from the vending machine because I couldn't afford the campus cafe. The headline read, 12 Morrison Whitfield Fellows announced, Meet the Future of Data Science. My photo was there, third from the left in the featured image. Below it, a paragraph I must have read 50 times. Gloria Young, whose research on machine learning applications for natural disaster prediction caught the attention of Foundation Chair Dr. Eleanor Whitfield, represents the next generation of data scientists committed to using technology for social good. Young's predictive models for flood response have already been cited in 3 peer-reviewed journals, an exceptional achievement for an undergraduate researcher. I stared at my own name, at the words exceptional achievement, at the fact that someone important, had noticed my work and thought it mattered. For the first time in years, I felt seen. I screenshot the article. My thumb hovered over my father's contact for a long moment. I could send it to him, show him that I wasn't dead weight, that strangers at Stanford and NASA saw value in me even if he couldn't. But I stopped. What would be the point? He wouldn't read it, and even if he did, he'd find some way to diminish it. Anyone can get quoted in a school newspaper. It's not like it's the real news. I saved the screenshot anyway, not for him, for me, because one day, I knew I might need proof that I was worth something, proof that existed outside my father's version of reality. I didn't know then that this article would become evidence in a very public trial, not in a courtroom, but in a comment section, March 28, 6 a.m. I stood at my dorm room window, watching the sun rise over Austin. 15 minutes away, my father's family was loading suitcases into an Uber bound for the airport. I knew because Brandon texted me. Sucks you can't come. But hey, more room in the suite, LOL. I didn't respond. I turned back to my laptop where my thesis draft waited. Chapter 3. Predictive Modeling for Hurricane Evacuation Routes. Due in 6 weeks. The cursor blinked at me, patient and indifferent. I thought about my mother. The last summer before she got sick, she took me to Galveston, just the 2 of us. We built sandcastles and ate too much ice cream and watched the waves until the sun went down. She held my hand on the beach and said something I've never forgotten. Remember, Gloria, your worth doesn't depend on whether someone sees you. You matter even when no one's looking. I wiped my eyes, opened my thesis document, started typing. Somewhere over the Pacific, my father was flying first class to Maui on my mother's money. and I was alone in a dorm room, working toward a future he'd never acknowledge. But buried in my Stanford email was a line I hadn't fully processed yet. Dr. Whitfield has expressed interest in meeting you personally during orientation week. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know why the founder of my fellowship would want to meet a random student from Texas. I would find out soon enough. Because in the next 10 days, my father would do something so publicly stupid that it would destroy everything he'd built. And I wouldn't have to lift a finger. The internet would do it for me. If you've made it this far, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been treated like you don't exist by your own family? Have you ever achieved something incredible only to have the people closest to you shrug it off? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if you want to know what happened next, trust me, you do. Hit that like button and keep watching. The best part is coming. The first photo appeared on March 29th. Maya showed me because I'd muted my father's Facebook years ago. She kept him followed for what she called enemy reconnaissance. The image showed my father, Melissa, Brandon, and Chloe standing in front of the Grand Waverly Resort. Palm trees, ocean, golden hour lighting. Everyone was smiling. The caption read, "Paradise found. So grateful for this beautiful family. Hat Maui magic. Family first." 1,847 likes. 203 comments. Maya scrolled through them for me, her voice dripping with disgust. Beautiful family. You guys are goals. Best dad ever. She looked up. Best dad ever. Are these people serious? I shrugged. They don't know. That's the problem, isn't it? They see what he shows them. She was right. To the outside world, Richard Young was a devoted father, a family man who prioritized quality time, a role model. They didn't see the daughter who wasn't in the photo. They didn't ask why there were only 4 people when he had 3 children. Look at this one, Maya said, pointing to a comment. Richard, you're such an inspiration. Your kids are so lucky to have you. I felt something twist in my chest, not anger, something older. Exhaustion, maybe. The tiredness that comes from being invisible for so long that you start to wonder if you're the problem. I can't look at this anymore, I said. Maya closed the app. Sorry, I wanted you to see what you're up against. I know what I'm up against. I've known for years. She put her hand on my shoulder. It's not fair, Gloria. No, I agreed. It's not. But I didn't know then that the worst was yet to come. 3 days later, my father would post something that would change everything. April 2nd, 3:47 p.m. Hawaii time. My father posted a photo album. 47 pictures from the trip. Beaches, sunsets, helicopter views of volcanic craters, fancy dinners, snorkeling adventures, the whole curated fantasy. But it was the caption that stopped my heart. Best vacation ever. No dead weight this time. Just pure family bliss. Finally got to enjoy a trip without anyone dragging us down. If you know, you know. Hashtag blessed family. Hashtag paradise. Found no negative energy. Maya called me at 6:15 p.m. Austin time. Her voice was shaking. Gloria, you need to see this, right now. I opened Facebook, found the post, read the caption, read it again. No dead weight this time. He didn't just think it. He didn't just say it to my face in his office. He wrote it, published it, broadcast it to 127,000 people. Finally got to enjoy a trip without anyone dragging us down. I was the dead weight. I was the one dragging them down. And now everyone knew it. The post already had 2,347 likes, 189 comments, all of them congratulating him on his beautiful vacation, his beautiful family, his beautiful life. Gloria? Maya's voice came through the phone. Are you okay? I wasn't okay. I was sitting in my dorm room, alone, staring at a screen that proved what I'd always suspected. My father didn't just neglect me. He was proud of it. He was bragging about it. I don't know what to do, I whispered. We could comment, we could. No. I shook my head even though she couldn't see me. I don't want drama. This isn't drama, Gloria. This is the truth. But I didn't respond. I didn't know that in less than 12 hours, the truth would find its own way out, delivered by someone my father never expected. I spent the next hour scrolling through the comments. I don't know why. Maybe I was hoping someone would ask the obvious question. Maybe I was looking for a single person who noticed something was wrong. No one did. So happy for you guys. You deserve this. Family goals. Richard, you're such a great dad. Your kids are so lucky. No dead weight equals no drama. Smart move. That last one had 43 likes. I recognized some of the names. Colleagues from Pinnacle Realty, neighbors from my father's subdivision, people from his church group, all of them praising him, all of them laughing along with his joke about dead weight. None of them knew the deadweight was a person. His daughter, a Stanford fellow, someone who existed. Maya sat beside me on the bed, watching me scroll. Say something. What's there to say? That this is messed up, that he's publicly humiliating you, that no one knows it's about me. I closed the laptop. To them, I'm just nothing, an unnamed problem that got solved. That's exactly why you should say something. I shook my head. What would that accomplish? He has 127,000 followers. I have 89. Who do you think they'd believe? Maya didn't have an answer. I sat in the dark for a long time after she went to sleep. I thought about my mother, about the money she'd left me, about all the ways I'd tried to earn my father's approval and failed. I didn't know that I didn't need to say anything. I didn't know that someone else was already reading that post. Someone with 340,000 followers and a very low tolerance for injustice. Someone who knew exactly who the deadweight was. I learned what happened next from Dr. Whitfield herself, months later over coffee in Palo Alto. She told me she had a habit of checking social media profiles connected to her fellowship recipients. Not surveillance exactly, more like due diligence. She wanted to understand the families her fellows came from, the support systems they had or didn't have. She found my father's Facebook through a mutual connection, a professor at UT Austin, who happened to be friends with both of them. I saw the vacation photos first, she told me. Beautiful resort. Happy family. And then I read the caption. She paused, stirring her coffee. No dead weight this time. I read those words and something clicked. I remembered your application essay. How you mentioned your mother's death. How you talked about feeling invisible in your own home. How you'd worked 2 jobs through college while maintaining a near-perfect GPA. She scrolled through my father's profile, saw the wall of family photos, noticed the same thing I'd noticed years ago. You weren't in any of them, she said. Not one photo after 2015, it was like you'd been erased. She opened the Stanford News article in another tab, looked at my photo, looked at my father's profile. I called my assistant and asked her to confirm. Richard Young of Austin, Texas, father of Gloria Young, Morrison Whitfield Fellow. It matched. I sat with it for about an hour, she told me. I don't usually involve myself in family matters. It's not my place. But, she smiled, a sharp, knowing smile. But I've spent 40 years watching brilliant young women be dismissed by small-minded men, and I decided I was too old and too accomplished to stay silent. That night, she opened Facebook and started typing. April 3rd, 8:22 a.m. California time. Dr. Eleanor Whitfield posted a comment on my father's vacation album. It was short, polite, devastating. Mr. Young, I couldn't help but notice your caption. I'm Dr. Eleanor Whitfield, founder of the Morrison Whitfield Fellowship at Stanford University. Your daughter Gloria was just selected as one of our 12 fellows this year, out of 4,080 applicants. Her research on disaster prediction modeling is exceptional and has already been cited in peer-reviewed journals. I'm curious, is she the dead weight you're referring to? If so, I'd love to understand your definition of that word. Best regards. Her profile picture showed her verified badge, her bio linked to her Stanford faculty page. Her credentials were impeccable. Former NASA director, foundation chair, advisor to 3 presidential administrations. There was no way to dismiss her as a random troll. No way to claim she was misinformed or jealous or didn't understand the situation. She knew exactly who I was. She knew exactly what my father had done. And she'd said it publicly, calmly, with the full weight of her reputation behind every word. Within 30 minutes, the comment had 847 likes. Within an hour, it had 234 replies. The replies weren't kind. Wait, his daughter got a Stanford fellowship and he called her dead weight? I just Googled Gloria Young Stanford. She's literally featured on their website. This man used his dead wife's money to vacation without his own daughter? I've bought 2 houses through Richard. Never again. The tide was turning. The perfect family man was being exposed. And I hadn't said a single word. I didn't even know it was happening yet. But I was about to find out. The comment section became a crime scene. People who had praised my father hours earlier were now deleting their comments in shame. Others were returning to retract their likes, their congratulations, their family goals, exclamations. New comments flooded in every minute. Family first? More like family -1. So the dead weight is a Stanford fellow and you're a real estate manager? Interesting. I'm sharing this everywhere. People need to see what good fathers really look like. At Pinnacle Realty Group, is this the kind of person you want representing your company? That last comment was the one that mattered most. The post's like count, which had peaked at 2,347, began dropping. Within 2 hours, it was down to 1,102. People were actively unliking it, something I didn't even know was possible at that scale. But the comment that made my stomach drop came from a name I recognized. Margaret Collins, regional director at Pinnacle Realty, my father's boss. Richard, we need to talk. Monday, my office. She didn't say anything else. She didn't need to. The screenshot of her comment spread faster than the original post. Someone created a thread. Real estate manager publicly humiliates Stanford-bound daughter, gets called out by NASA scientist, boss sees everything. It was shared 2,000 times in 3 hours. My father's carefully constructed image, 8 years of family man Richard, thousands of posts about love and gratitude and #blessed family, was collapsing in real time. And the person who'd built it was still on a beach in Maui, probably wondering why his phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Maya burst into our room at 9:47 a.m. Gloria! She was out of breath, holding her phone like it contained nuclear launch codes. Check Facebook, now! What? Just do it. I opened the app with shaking hands, navigated to my father's post. And there it was. Dr. Eleanor Whitfield's comment, 1,247 likes and climbing, hundreds of replies. A complete dismantling of everything my father had pretended to be. I read her words 3 times. Is she the deadweight you're referring to? She destroyed him, Maya whispered. With one question. One polite, devastating question. I didn't know how to feel. Part of me, the part that had spent years being invisible, felt something crack open. Validation, recognition, proof that I wasn't crazy, that the way I'd been treated wasn't normal. But another part of me felt the ground shifting. This wasn't private anymore. This was public, permanent, unsolvable. My phone started buzzing. Text messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. Is this about you? What's going on with your dad? Gloria, are you okay? I didn't answer any of them. What do? I asked Maya. Nothing. She sat down beside me. You don't have to do anything. She did it for you. But the fallout is his problem. He created this. He published it. He chose to call you dead weight in front of 127,000 people. Maya grabbed my hand. You didn't do this, Gloria. He did. I stared at the screen, at Dr. Whitfield's profile picture, at the hundreds of strangers defending me. For the first time in my life, someone with power had stood up for me. And she hadn't asked for anything in return. My father's damage control was a masterclass in making things worse. At 11:30 a.m. Hawaii time, he finally saw the comment. His response appeared 20 minutes later. Dr. Whitfield, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Dead weight was just a joke about luggage. We always overpack. Gloria knows I love her. This was taken completely out of context. The internet did not believe him. A joke about luggage? You said no dead weight this time, implying there was dead weight before. If it was about suitcases, why mention finally enjoying a trip without anyone dragging us down? Nice try, Richard. We can all read. Luggage doesn't drag the mood down. People do. You were talking about your daughter. Within 15 minutes, his reply had more angry reactions than likes. He deleted it. That made things worse. He's deleting comments now. Screenshot everything. I got it before he deleted, sharing to my story. The cover-up is always worse than the crime, Richard. He tried to delete the original post. Too late. Hundreds of screenshots were already circulating. A local Facebook group called Austin Real Estate Watch, 45,000 members, shared the thread with a damning caption. This is Richard Young, senior manager at Pinnacle Realty Group. Is this how Pinnacle represents family values? The post was shared 400 times in an hour. Someone found the Stanford News article and posted it alongside the screenshot. Side by side, my father calling me dead weight, and Stanford calling me exceptional. The contrast was devastating. My father stopped responding after that. His Facebook went silent. But the damage was done. You can't delete the internet and you can't unring a bell. He was about to learn that the hard way. The call came at 2:15 p.m. Austin time. I stared at my father's name on the screen for 3 rings before answering. Gloria. His voice was different, strained, almost desperate. We need to talk. About what? You know about what? That comment, the situation online. The situation you created? A pause. I heard him take a breath. I need you to post something. Something that clarifies this was a misunderstanding. Tell people it was an inside joke. Tell them we have a great relationship. I almost laughed. You want me to lie for you? I want you to help fix this, for the family. Which family? The real one? Or the one you take to Maui? Gloria, you called me dead weight, Dad, to my face in your office, and then you posted it online for 127,000 people to see. I didn't mean, you meant every word. You've meant it for years. The only difference is now everyone else knows. His voice hardened. If you don't help me fix this, there will be consequences. Consequences? I felt something cold settle in my chest. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how things work. I'm your father. I've supported you for 22 years. You owe me. I owe you nothing. My voice was steady, calm. You used Mom's money for a vacation without me. You've excluded me from family photos for 8 years. You told me I make everyone uncomfortable. And now you want me to save your reputation? Silence. Fix it yourself, Dad. I'm done. I hung up. For the first time in my life, I ended the call first. I set the boundary. I chose myself. And I didn't feel guilty at all. The email arrived at 4:30 p.m. I saw the sender, E. Whitfield at Stanford, Edu, and my heart stopped. Dear Gloria, I hope you don't mind that I commented on your father's post. I realize it may have been presumptuous of me to involve myself in a family matter, And if I've overstepped, I sincerely apologize. But I want you to know why I did it. I've spent 40 years in academia and industry, watching brilliant young women be dismissed by people who should have championed them. I've seen too many talented minds doubt themselves because the people closest to them refuse to see their worth. When I read your application essay, I saw something remarkable. Not just intelligence, though you have that in abundance, but resilience. The kind of quiet strength that comes from surviving things you shouldn't have had to survive. Your achievements speak for themselves. A fellowship that 4,068 other applicants didn't receive. Research that's already being cited by your peers. A future that is entirely your own to build. Don't let anyone, family or otherwise, diminish what you've accomplished. If you ever need anything, my door is always open. I meant what I said in your acceptance letter. I'm looking forward to meeting you at orientation. Warmly. Eleanor. I read the email 3 times. By the third time I was crying. It was not sad tears. Something else. Relief, maybe. Or recognition. For years, I'd wondered if I was the problem. If my father was right. If I really was dead weight. Too quiet, too awkward, too much trouble to love. And here was a woman I'd never met. A woman who'd run NASA's data science division, telling me I was worth defending. I typed my reply through blurred vision. Dr. Whitfield, thank you. Not just for the comment, but for seeing me when my own family chose not to. I won't let you down. If you've ever had someone, a teacher, a mentor, a stranger, stand up for you when your family wouldn't, I want to hear about it. Those people matter more than they know. Drop a comment below and tell me who believed in you when no one else did. And if this story is resonating with you, hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. We're almost at the end, and trust me, you want to see how this plays out. April 7th, the Monday after the vacation. I learned what happened from Maya, who learned it from a friend who worked at Pinnacle Realty's front desk. My father walked into the office at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early, wearing his best suit. He thought he could get ahead of it. Explain, spin, do what he did best. Margaret Collins was already waiting. The meeting lasted 47 minutes. When my father emerged, his face was gray. Here's what I pieced together later. Pinnacle Realty Group had a social media policy. It was in the employee handbook, page 34. Employees are expected to conduct themselves professionally on social media platforms, particularly when their employment is publicly visible. Conduct that damages the company's reputation may result in disciplinary action. My father had Pinnacle Realty Senior Manager in his Facebook bio. His post and the subsequent viral meltdown had been shared over 3,000 times. The company's customer service line had received 14 calls from clients asking if Pinnacle endorsed that kind of behavior. Margaret Collins didn't yell. She didn't need to. Effective immediately, you're being reassigned from senior manager to associate manager. You'll no longer supervise the residential team. Your salary will be adjusted accordingly. The numbers, from $127,000 per year to $97,790, a 23% pay cut. Additionally, he was required to complete a mandatory training course, Professional Conduct in Digital Spaces. 8 hours, on his own time. He tried to argue, he tried to explain, he tried to say it was a family matter, a private joke, a misunderstanding. Margaret's response was simple. Richard, you made it public. Now you deal with the public consequences. He walked out of that meeting a different man, and his problems were just beginning. The social fallout was slower but more thorough. Over the next week, my father lost 34,000 Facebook followers. His count dropped from 127,000 to 93,000 and kept falling. The Family Man Richard brand was hemorrhaging. 3 potential clients canceled home viewings. I know because one of them sent me a message on LinkedIn. Ms. Young, I was going to buy a house through your father's agency. After seeing what he posted about you, I've decided to take my business elsewhere. Congratulations on Stanford. You deserve better than him. I didn't respond, but I saved the message. The Parent-Teacher Association at Brandon's high school asked my father to resign from the advisory board. A parent had shared the screenshot in their group chat, and the vote was unanimous. A local blog called Austin Family Watch published an article. Local real estate manager's viral post sparks conversation about deadweight children and blended family dynamics. They didn't name him directly, but everyone knew. The comments section was brutal. Melissa started getting questions too. Friends texting, "Is that post about Richard's daughter? What's going on with your husband?" She stopped responding to her group chats, and then, unexpectedly, a message from Brandon. Sis. One word. A word he hadn't used in 8 years. I didn't know it was that bad. I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. I didn't know if he meant it. I didn't know if anything would change. But it was the first time anyone in that house had acknowledged what happened to me. Maybe that was something. Maybe it wasn't. Either way, my father was learning a lesson he should have learned years ago. The internet never forgets, and neither do the people you've wronged. The apology call came on April 10th. My father's voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. Humble, almost. But I'd learned to listen for what was underneath. Gloria, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Have you? I was wrong. What I posted, what I said, it was wrong. I want to make things right. For a moment, I let myself hope. Maybe he'd finally understood. Maybe losing his job title and his followers had broken through whatever wall he'd built. How? I asked. I'm going to post a public apology. Tell everyone how proud I am of you, how much I love you, how the deadweight comment was a terrible mistake. That sounds like a start. But I need your help. There it was. If you could comment something supportive underneath, maybe tag Dr. Whitfield so she sees I've changed, it would really help repair the damage. I closed my eyes. You want me to help you repair your image? I want us to heal as a family. No, Dad. You want your followers back. You want your reputation back. You want to undo the consequences without actually changing anything. That's not... You haven't apologized to me, not really. You've apologized to the internet. You've apologized to your boss. But you haven't once said, Gloria, I'm sorry for how I treated you for the past 8 years. Silence. Because you're not sorry, I continued. You're embarrassed. There's a difference. Gloria, healing isn't a PR campaign, Dad, and I'm not a tool you can use to fix what you broke. I hung up. He didn't call back, and for the first time, I realized I didn't want him to. April 15th, a new email from Stanford. The subject line read, An Opportunity. Dear Gloria, I hope this message finds you well. I've been thinking about our upcoming orientation and your research interests, and I have a proposal. Each summer, I select 2 incoming fellows to join my research team as paid assistants before the academic year begins. It's an opportunity to get a head start on the program, build connections with faculty, and contribute to ongoing projects in climate modeling and disaster response. I would like to offer you one of those positions. The details: June 1st through August 15th, stipend of $4,500 per month, housing assistance available. You would work directly with my team on our hurricane prediction initiative, something I believe aligns perfectly with your undergraduate research. This is not a competitive application. I'm offering it to you directly because I believe in your potential. Please let me know if you're interested. Warmly, Eleanor. I read the email 4 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. $4,500 per month. Direct mentorship from one of the most respected data scientists in the country. A head start at Stanford before I'd even officially enrolled. Maya screamed when I told her. Do you understand what this is? She grabbed my shoulders. This is Dr. Eleanor Whitfield, former NASA director, personally recruiting you to her team, while your dad is taking a mandatory social media ethics course. Karma is real. I laughed. Actually laughed. Something I hadn't done in weeks. My father wanted a $38,000 vacation. He got a demotion and a training seminar. I wanted to be seen. I got Stanford, a fellowship, and a mentor who believed in me before we'd ever met. The universe has a sense of humor. April 20th. I wrote the email I should have written years ago. I addressed it to my father and Melissa, CC'd Maya as a witness, and spent 3 hours choosing every word. Dad and Melissa. I'm writing to establish some boundaries for our relationship going forward. I'm not asking for an apology. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking you to publicly acknowledge what happened. Those things won't undo 8 years of being treated as invisible, and I've stopped expecting them. What I am asking for is basic respect, and since that hasn't been freely given, I need to define what it looks like. 1. I will not attend family events where I am not treated as an equal member of the family. No more standing at the edge of photos. No more being excluded from conversations. No more being the person everyone pretends isn't there. 2. I will not participate in any effort to repair your public image. My achievements are not tools for your reputation management. 3. I will maintain minimal contact until I see evidence of genuine change. Not words, but actions. Not apologies for the internet, but apologies to me. I hope that one day we can have a healthy relationship. But that depends on you, not me. I've done everything I can. I've tried to earn your approval for 22 years. I'm done trying. If you want to be part of my life going forward, you'll need to show me you've changed. Until then, I wish you well. From a distance. Gloria. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. My father never responded. Melissa replied with one word. Noted. It wasn't the closure I wanted, but it was the boundary I needed, and for the first time, I felt free. April 25th. Brandon called. Not a text. An actual phone call. I almost didn't answer. We hadn't spoken on the phone since I'd left for college 4 years ago. Gloria? His voice was uncertain. Young somehow, despite being 19. Brandon, I wanted to talk, if that's okay. I sat down on my bed. I'm listening. I didn't know. He exhaled. I mean, I knew things weren't great between you and Dad, but I didn't know I didn't know he said those things to you, called you that. You never asked. I know. That's on me. A pause. I just believed what Mom told me. That you were difficult. That you didn't want to be part of the family. That you chose to be distant. And now? Now I read Dr. Whitfield's comment, and I Googled you, and I saw the Stanford article. His voice cracked slightly. You're actually impressive, and I've been treating you like you don't exist. I didn't respond. I wasn't sure what to say. I'm not asking you to forgive me, he continued. I wanted you to know that I see it now, what they did, what I helped them do by not saying anything. What are you going to do about it? I unfollowed Dad on Facebook. A small laugh, embarrassed. I know that's nothing, but I don't want to be part of that anymore. The fake family stuff, the photos, the whole thing. It wasn't much, but it was something. Thank you for calling, Brandon. Can I call again sometime? Maybe we could actually, talk? I thought about it. About second chances. About whether people could really change. Yeah, I said finally. Maybe we could. June 1st. I stood in my dorm room, surrounded by cardboard boxes. 4 years of my life in Austin, packed into containers bound for California. On my desk sat the only photo I was bringing from home. My mother, holding me on a beach when I was 7. Her smile was wide, her eyes were bright. She had no idea she'd be gone in 5 years. I picked up the frame and looked at her face. "I did it, Mom," I whispered. "I got out." She told me once that my worth didn't depend on whether someone saw me, that I mattered even when no one was looking. She was right, but she would have also understood this. Sometimes being seen by the right person changes everything. Dr. Whitfield saw me, Stanford saw me, and slowly, I was learning to see myself. My phone buzzed. "Maya, I'm outside, ready when you are." I took one last look around the room. At the desk where I'd cried over my father's post. At the bed where I'd read Dr. Whitfield's email. At the window where I'd watched the sun rise on the day my family flew to Maui without me. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I was just done. Done waiting for my father to love me. Done trying to earn a place in a family that didn't want me. Done being the invisible daughter, the dead weight, the problem that needed solving. I had a fellowship, a mentor, a future, and I had myself, which it turned out was enough. I grabbed my bag, turned off the light, and walked out the door. California was waiting, and for the first time in my life, so was I. That's my story. If you've ever been called dead weight or burden or any word that made you feel like you didn't deserve to exist, I want you to remember something. Your worth isn't determined by people who refuse to see you. It's determined by what you build when you finally stop waiting for their approval. If this story helped you feel less alone, please like, subscribe, and check the description for more stories like this one. Thank you for being here with me.